right, as usual, I welcome you all to this important annual general meeting for the year 2024. And can we start with a word of prayer? Where is our bishop?
She'll join us later, Chair.
All right, can we appoint another second bishop? This time, who is touched
Gathoni will do
to
it
start
for
us?
us. Gathoni will do it for us.
Adoni, please.
Okay. Let's bow down for a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning, thanking you for the gift of life, thanking you for the work we've been able to do through PAKPRO, for our members. And as we begin this annual general meeting, I pray that you would guide us, guide our discussions, and may good come out of it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I think I'll call the meeting to order. Joyce, I don't know whether I'm in order to go straight into business.
Yes, you are.
All right. As I welcome everybody to this annual general meeting, I think it's number 3 for the year 2024, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
On behalf of the board of PAKPRO, I warmly welcome our valued shareholders to our annual general meeting, and I'm honored to report on our 2024 performance in my capacity as the PAKPRO chairman. Over the past year, we have continued to demonstrate that business in Kenya is not only capable of adapting to a changing regulatory landscape, but is prepared to lead the transition towards circular economy. The year 2024 marked an important step in this journey, as the plastic packaging regulatory came into sharper focus and private sector aligned around a shared responsibility to manage packaging waste more sustainability. From January to December, our work reflected maturing industry. On that understanding, that extended producer responsibility is no longer an abstract policy discussion, but a practical obligation that requires coordination, investment, and collective ownership. Our members across manufacturing, retail, importation, and distribution continue to show commitment to this transition, laying the groundwork for compliance and demonstrating that circularity is possible at scale when industry collaborates with the purpose. We strengthened our integrity, our identity as a multi-pro responding to the breadth of materials now covered under the regulation. This shift has allowed us to welcome a broader base of organizations into PAKPRO community, ensuring that the responsibility for packaging waste is shared equitably across sectors. The growth in membership in 2024 is a testament to the recognition that sustainability has become a license to operate, not an optional investment. In the period under review, we maintained constructive engagement with the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, the Ministry of Environment, and other public sector partners to support the implementation of EPR in a manner that balances environmental goals with economic realities. These engagements have ensured that industrial concerns were heard and that the path to compliance was grounded in practicality and fairness. And we also continued our participation in county level policy harmonization efforts to ensure alignment between national regulations and local implementation. The year was not without pressure, and with previous transitions, the shift from voluntary contribution to mandatory EPR fees brought uncertainty to cash flows, reflected in extended payment cycles and constrained operational capacity. Nonetheless, it is encouraging that most members began to meet their obligations as the regulatory clarity improved. This momentum provides a stronger foundation for PAKPRO as we move into full enforcement of the plastic packaging regulation. Despite financial headwinds, our impact on the ground remained evident. Though our strategic partners and field programs, we continue to support waste collection, improve segregation of source, strengthen recycling pathways, and expand our footprint in communities across the country. Our initiative in material recovery, particularly through used beverage cartons, flexible and emerging substrates, signals a growing capability to handle the diversity of packaging in the market. As we look forward, we remain optimistic. The national shift towards producer responsibility places PAKPRO at the center of Kenya's circular transition. Our task now is to scale what works, strengthen what needs reinforcement, and demonstrate that compliant and competitive private sector can exist with strong environmental outcomes. I extend my appreciation to our board secretariat and members for your continued commitment to this cause. Together, we will continue to show that the private sector is ready and willing and able to champion a circular economy for Kenya. Thank you. Let me now invite the Chief Executive Officer, Joyce Kashugi Wawero, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Distinguished Board of Directors, esteemed members, partners, and the Secretariat, welcome to PAKPRO's third annual general meeting. As we gather today, we are not only reviewing our financial period, we are witnessing the birth of a new era in Kenya's environmental responsibility. Our theme for the past year, 2024, was building circular futures from policy to practice. This perfectly encapsulates our transition from regulatory preparation to practical on-ground systems that recover materials and support Kenya's circularity ambitions. In 2024, we dubbed it the year where the rubber met the road. The year 2024 was foundational, marking the year we moved from concept to compliance. We successfully operationalized extended producer responsibility, EPR, helping our members navigate the complexities of plastic clearance and EPR fees. We saw a significant surge in membership, and industry players recognize that sustainability is no longer optional, it is a license to operate. Our collective impact in 2024 speaks for itself. Under sector performance, PET led the way with 91% compliance and generated over 62 million Kenya shillings. The glass sector achieved a remarkable 100% recovery performance against its set target. Letter Carton Pack Ushinde, a one of its kind, a revolutionary customer-facing campaign in partnership with Tetra Pak and Naivas Supermarkets, was a campaign that sought to demonstrate a consumer-driven material return. And we were able to collect over 18,512 UBC. These are used beverage carton pieces. Under Biz Nataka, which is now our revolutionary program, was launched in 2024 to strengthen waste value chains, has already onboarded 200 waste pickers and 13 additional aggregators. Under environmental restoration, we successfully completed 4 river cleanups, collecting 77,500 kilograms of waste, providing wages to over 620 workers. Under our financial performance, our total revenue for the year reached 144 million Kenya shillings, which represents a 67% increase on initial projections. Under the key financial insights, our sector contributions beyond PET, the laminate sector generated 29 million Kenya shillings, and the plastic sector contributed 26 million Kenya shillings. We were able to defer income due to our deferred income due to the wait and see position that the chairman spoke to earlier. Producers took a wait and see attitude based on their waiting of the gazettement of the regulations, which meant that 50% of our expected 2024 income was actually cleared in early 2025. Under recovery investment, we were able to recover fees generated across sectors, amounted to about 58 million Kenya shillings, with our expenditure being spread across different functions. In terms of impact, we were able to invest 4.9 million Kenya shillings in river restoration and approximately 5.3 million in the Letter Carton Pack Ushinde campaign. Our operational liquidity, we were able to navigate our 120-day payment cycle, which is usually a quarterly schedule from most members, which led to half of our 2024 income being received in 2025. Before we look toward the future, allow me to commend the PAKPRO team. I must pause and recognize that they are the heartbeat of this organization. I want to extend my deepest thanks to the PAKPRO Secretariat for your tireless execution and dedication. The progress we have shared today, from managing 120-day payment cycles to mobilizing hundreds of workers for river cleanups, is a testament to your resilience. You have moved beyond mere policy preparation into real-world demonstrations of circularity in action. To our board of directors, thank you for your unwavering governance, which has provided the steady hand needed to navigate this foundational year. As we look forward to 2026-2030 strategic roadmap, our vision is to resolve from a compliance vehicle into a catalyst for a tech-enabled circular economy. Our priorities for 2026 include a full rollout of Biz Nataka. We target linking ourselves to national scalable projects, to be able to work with buyback centers, establish new ones. For instance, through the existing Mau Forest Complex Integrated Conservation and Livelihood Improvement Program, which is the FMC ECLIP, as well as the Nairobi River Regeneration Project, as well as the United Nations Development Program projects. Why this is critical to us is that we are able to save on members' funds, and we are able to piggyback on grants, but as well as national scalable projects that we can be able to leverage. Under our retail and take-back expansion, we seek to push this aggressively, implementing 5 new programs across our glass materials, our cosmetics, and our plastic sectors. As we look to this, we also recognize that advanced recycling is critical. Beyond the recycled PET, for bottle to bottle. We're also looking to have conversion of used beverage carton material into pulp and high-value polyal composite boards. The pilot for this has already demonstrated tremendous results, and we are confident that we'll be able to scale up the uptake and recovery of UBC based off of this. Under our digital innovation, we look to fully roll out a digital platform to support the digital marketplace and traceability program for members' products. To our members, you are the engine of this transformation. Let us proceed with today's agenda with pride in what we have built and on the clarity of where we are going. Thank you.
Perhaps as it comes on the screen, you could read the agendas for everyone to understand. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, CEO Joyce. Good morning and welcome to this annual general meeting, which has been long overdue, but still within the timelines that are meant to have it. This is the AGM to consider matters and affairs that took place for the company in the year 2024. Right, so the notice of the annual general meeting reads as follows. To the members of Packaging Producer Responsibility Organization, PAKPRO Company, notice is hereby given that the third annual general meeting, AGM of PAKPRO, will be held virtually on Friday, which is today, the 13th of March 2026, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. to transact the following business. Right, so there's ordinary business, which is to read the notice convening the meeting, table the proxies received, and confirm the presence of a quorum. I think we are doing that now. We're reading the notice. And then to confirm and adopt the minutes of the annual general meeting held on 4th October 2024. So this is the second annual general meeting of PAKPRO that took place on the 4th of October 2024. We'll be doing that shortly. Number 3, to receive the chairman's statement and the chief executive officer's report. I believe we have just done that now. Then number 4, to receive, consider, and if thought fit, adopt the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2024, together with the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. Then number 5, which is a repetition of the exercise we undertook. We will also have this taking place today, but we undertook this also in the previous AGM, but there were concerns by BRS, the company's registry, on the timeline it took for us to effect these resolutions from the previous AGM. So we will be repeating this exercise. It is effectively, as per the language of the law, the removal of previous directors so that we can clean up our current registration status with the company's registry. So then it reads as follows. In accordance with Section 139 of the Companies Act and Article 23F of the Company's Articles of Association, special notice is issued on resolutions to be considered and passed at the general meeting confirming the retirement and the removal of the following persons as directors of the company, as they're no longer associated with or otherwise representing their sponsoring organization's interests as members of the company. So these are more or less founding directors of the company who were in place around the year 2011, thereabouts. And over the years, they have moved on from their positions. And many of them are actually not in touch with the company. So A, Ibrahim El Khoury, B, Shege Emos Teuri, C, John Mwangi Waithaka, D, Daryl Alan Wilson, E, Anthony Daniel Mwangi, F, Justin Travers Michael Apse, G, Casper Durant, H, Daniel Gidua Mwangi. And then number 6 of the agenda, to confirm the appointment of PKF Kenya, Certified Public Accountants of PO Box 14077 00800 is the code, Nairobi, Kenya, as the auditors of the company for the financial year following that audited previously in 4 above, and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration in accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act. And then we move on to any other business. So the AGM shall consider any other business of which due notice has been received. By order of the board, this notice is dated 6 February 2026 and was issued to members of the company in due time in accordance with the law. Thank you, and I hand it over back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Members, you have heard the agenda. Shall we, can we adopt the agenda for the day? Silence, I hope it is say that members fully endorse the agenda. Amy? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
yes,
can,
if there's no
Chairman.
objection, Mr. Chairman.
So that is the agenda for the day, and I think we straight up now confirmation of an adopted minutes of the annual general meeting, which was held on 4th of October 2024. Do we have to reread, or can we go straight up to adoption? And can I have a proposal by members and seconder?
Maybe, Chair, we can just go through them for those who maybe were not present in the previous AGM.
Yeah. So then can you read, Joyce, quickly?
Jimmy, will you go through them, please?
Yes, I will. I'll take the next few moments just to take us through the previous minutes of the AGM held on the 4th of October 2024 at Nairobi Serena Hotel from 3:45 p.m. to about 6 p.m. Present, there are members of the company in accordance with the CR12. So these are the entities registered with the company's registry as members of PAKPRO, and this will be changing, members. This will be changing over the next few months. As I'm aware, we have over 300 members now, and that is increasing, especially with the regulatory enforcement by NEMA, requiring producers to register as members of a PRO or to undertake their EPR obligations via setting up schemes by themselves. So present, we had the 5 members of the company. Nairobi Bottlers Limited, now operating as Coca-Cola Beverages Kenya Limited, represented by Susan Maingi. Almasi Beverages Limited, now operating as Coca-Cola Beverages Kenya Limited, represented by Susan Maingi. Highlands Mineral Water Limited, represented by Rosalie Drwaru. Coca-Cola Central East and West Africa Limited, represented by Clifford Machoka, who has since left and has been replaced by Mr. Eugene. And then Coastal Bottlers Limited, represented by Nicholas Abunza. So a note concerning the attendance, the 5 members, new members, shall be formally accepted in membership by the board of directors in accordance with the company's articles of association. This shall take place probably at the next board meeting or the one after that. Management and staff of the company and external service providers to the company, including the auditors, as per the list of attendees attached to these minutes. So if any member wishes to see any other parties that attended the previous AGM, the management of PAKPRO can avail the list of attendees. Minute number 10 of 2024, welcome and confirmation of quorum. The chairman called the meeting to order at 3:45 p.m. and formally welcomed all present. He asked Director Susan Maingi, who the chairman fondly refers to as our bishop, to pray before the members will get into the business of the day. The meeting was confirmed to be quorate and without any proxies. Minute number 2, reading of the notice convening the annual general meeting, minutes of the previous AGM and matters arising. So similar to the exercise I'm doing now, this is what took place. The order of business was unanimously adopted without any amendments. I then proceeded to read the minutes of the previous AGM, which were adopted by the members via certain individuals proposing and seconding. Regarding matters arising from the 2023 AGM, the members discussed the recent developments connected to the company's PRO mandate, which was confirmed to be non-hazardous waste. And we'll probably be hearing from CEO Joyce shortly on this, because I believe there have been some developments as far as this is concerned. What is the mandate of PAKPRO? At the time, it was confirmed to be non-hazardous waste in accordance with the draft EPR regulations that were in place, that were declaring that PROs needed to designate any of certain areas of materials for them to play in. And so PAKPRO determined that it was to play in the non-hazardous waste category. We will be hearing from Joyce on this some more later today. It was clarified that EPR responsibilities with respect to solar products were not part of the company's mandate, and that a new PRO dealing with electronic waste could handle the same. The members also discussed NEMA's penalties amounting to between 2 million and 4 million for producers who fail to have an individual EPR scheme or join a PRO under NEMA's enforcement of the Sustainable Waste Management Act, despite the long-awaited regulations having not been promulgated. So those regulations were promulgated effective November of 2024. They took effect 6 months later, on or around May, June of 2025. But there were court actions that stopped their implementation until presently, when NEMA is now putting in place the systems and the processes to implement the regulations, even as court matters are still proceeding. Right. So minute number three, chairpersons and CEOs report. The chairperson and CEO took the members through their report and remarks on the company's performance and developments over the last year since the last AGM, as reflected in the report attached to the minutes. Number four, recycling audit report. Mr. Daniel Kinyanjui of MFK and Associates presented the recycling report to the members. Its contents are, again, as per the report that attached to this minute. Minute number five, receiving and adopting audited financial statements, the balance sheet and accounts for the year ended 31st December 2023. The auditor, Felix Ndirangu from Muga JN and Associates, for and on behalf of PKF Associates, the company's appointed auditors, presented to the members the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2023. He began with the statement of income and expenditure, comparing it to the previous financial year, which ended 31st December 2022, to indicate declines and increments. The audited financial statements are attached these minutes. Director Jonathan Kinisu, who I believe is participating in this meeting, commented on the comparison between receivables and payables and observed that members had increased their payment of APR levies to the company compared to the previous year. He also obtained clarity from the company's management on the increased consultancy fees, salaries, and administrative costs and bad debts related to unpaid APR levies, which is an area for improvement. The members also discussed the cause of the increase in project costs from 12.2 million to 28.1 million and the recycling volumes reported in 2023 versus 2022. Nicholas proposed the adoption of the audited financial statements and was seconded by Director Susan to make formal approval by the members. And that is how the previous minutes were approved and adopted by the membership. Minute number 5, appointment of Coca-Cola Central East and West Africa Limited as a corporate director. So there's only one corporate director currently in the company, and that is Coca-Cola Central East and West Africa Limited. The members considered this and issued a resolution confirming the appointment of Coca-Cola Central East and West Africa Limited as a director. Minute number 6, this is what I was referring to as having taken place at the previous AGM, which we'll be repeating today. The members also considered and approved the resolution on the retirement and removal of the old founding directors of the company, whose names I just called out not long ago. Minute number 7, appointment of company directors. To confirm the appointment of PKF, the members also considered this matter and approved. Macharia from Kinangop introduced this matter by asking if the regulatory landscape distinguishes between the role of the three market players, especially with regard to the division of costs and liabilities regarding EPR. The chairman remarked that the responsibility should be shared, as all the three stakeholders have a responsibility to ensure no pollution of the environment from the placement of products in the market. The CEO stated that the regulator NEMA currently simply only looks to the producer of products named on product packaging as responsible for paying EPR levies, while in other advanced countries, the EPR responsibility is traced back to include manufacturers of packaging material, and that such clarity should be obtained from NEMA And the chairman agreed the brand owners should also be included, even if they're not resident in Kenya. Director Jonathan contributed by stating that his company, Tetra Pak, is already investing in the recycling and circular economy initiatives and is willing to pay EPR fees. NEMA meeting with the industry stakeholders on 7th October 2024, the CEO informed the members of the CS Environment proposed meeting with industry stakeholders, including NEMA, PROs, and producers at Boma Hotel. The members raised their concerns with the lack of adequate notice by the government, and it was resolved that better planning of critical meetings be undertaken in future. East Africa Legislative Authority Bill on Single-Use Plastics. Clifford from Coca-Cola informed the members of this bill at IALA, which had reached the second reading stage and was likely to be passed and enforced in East Africa. The bill had been drafted by Anjarwala and Kana advocates in Kenya and was supported by regulators in the region and was the subject of a conference to be held the week of 7th October 2024. The CEO was tasked with providing the members with a list of materials targeted by IALA bill, and she took to meet with the IALA officials in Nairobi alongside Kenya Association of Manufacturers. The chairman commented that the regulators should not dictate what materials that are recyclable and should solicit technical feedback from industry stakeholders, citing the example of plastic straws that are not recyclable. NEMA restoration orders. The members discussed the arbitrary and legally supported the restoration orders and agreed that the company should engage NEMA on their behalf as they declare volumes and comply with their EPR responsibilities under the Sustainable Waste Management Act, even in the absence of EPR regulations. The CEO mentioned that NEMA appears to be populating the list of shame based on companies whose products litter the environment, especially found in the rivers, regardless of whether they are members of a PRO. The chairman chimed in to state that NEMA should be checking PRO membership to avoid listing PRO members in the list of shame and purportedly issuing restoration orders. I believe there's still an exercise taking place right now where NEMA seeks to find out who are members, compliant members of PROs in the country in accordance with the EPR regulations. And I believe CEO Joyce will be speaking to us shortly also some more about that. The secretary informed that members that presently NEMA has no legal authority to issue such restoration orders or to enforce the same in the absence of EPR regulations as required by the law, and that such actions can be successfully challenged in court. Nicholas advised the company to take learnings from NEMA's Nairobi actions and leverage the same in driving program activities in other parts of the country. The chairman responded that the company has already started working with partners to deliver circularity impact outside of Nairobi. In conclusion, there being no other business, the chairman adjourned the meeting with Director Susan offering a word of prayer to close the AGM. So then this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, is to consider these minutes and confirm and adopt them as truly reflective of the meeting, the previous AGM that took place on the 4th of October 2024. I now hand it over back to you, Mr. Chairman, for you to present this question to the membership for them to formally adopt the minutes of the previous AGM. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary. Can we have, those members that were present that time, can I have a proposer and seconder? Yes, we can continue. Number one, Jonathan. Do I take it that you propose? Jonathan? Jonathan, you're not audible.
He's proposed, Chair. He's written it in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I take Jonathan Kiniso, MD Tetra Pak, as one of our board members, has proposed adoption of these minutes. May I have a seconder?
I think I've seen Gilbert and Rosa.
Gilbert, then, shall we take them jointly or one?
No, they're separate.
Okay.
Gilbert, Rosa, are you on?
It is.
Okay, Bidco has
It
seconded.
is seconded.
Seconded, Chair.
Yes. So I say confirm that the minutes of annual general meeting, board 2024, is hereby adopted and confirmed. Now we move on to item number, is it number 4? We have we go to the audited financial statement of the year 31st, 2024, together with the reports of the directors and auditors thereon.
Correct. I think PKF are on.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Linus Omuse, Audit Manager, PKF Kenya. So I think just through the chair, I'll request you allow me to go through the audit opinion, basically the first 2 paragraphs, yeah, which basically is the opinion which you have given upon auditing of the financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2024. Thereafter, I'll quickly take you through the profit and loss, basically to see how the performance of the company has been for the year 2024, as well as the balance sheet position, just to see how does our asset and liabilities look like. I think just let me go straight to the opinion. The chairman will allow me to take the other line items in the opinion to be read. We have ordered the final statement of Packaging Producer Responsibility Organization Limited, a company limited by guarantee, set out on pages 8 to 17, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2024, statement of income and accumulated funds, and statement of cash flow for the year then ended, and notes the financial statement, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the company as at 31st December 2024 and of its financial performance and cash flow for the year then ended in accordance with the IFRS for SMEs accounting standard and the Kenyan Companies Act. So basically our opinion is that the financial give a true and fair position of the company for the ended 31st December 2024. So quickly, I can just go through the balance sheet and profit and loss just to see how the performance of the company has been, which is on page 8 of the audited accounts. I think starting from top, we can see there is an increase in revenue from 55 million in the year 2023 to 105 million in the year 2024. So basically, the contributor is mainly because of the onboarding of more members, as stated by the CEO. So there is an increase in terms of the member subscription to the company, so which has basically improved the income position. And that is one thing, as discussed, we expect in the future to also get a growth on it, so that the company is able to spearhead its operation. In terms of the direct cost, we can see there is an increase from 28 million to 67.5 million in 2024. And the main contributor is the recycling cost, which is basically the primary activity which the company undertakes. So that is what has gone up in line with the increase in revenue. So there were more activities in terms of recycling processes and activities during the year. That's why you can see there is a bit of an increase in the cost from 28 to 67 million. If you go to administrative cost, you can see there is an increase from 19 million in 2023 to 33 million in 2024. And one of the main contributors is the professional fees, which is largely basically the staff cost. Yeah? So with the increase in activity, there is a requirement to have more people on board to help the company with its operation. So that is the primary contributor of the change from 19 to 33 million. At the bottom line, there is a decrease in profit from 7.6 to 4.6 at the end of the year. I think that is one thing which as the board, we are able to monitor and see how best can we improve it just to see the company has basically been able to improve in terms of the retention of the surplus for the year. Going to financial position. So you can see there is an increase in the retained earnings, mainly because of the profitability of the company in the year. In terms of an current asset as well, there is a growth just to make sure the company has the adequate equipment to be able to run its operation. And you can see under current assets, there is an increase in receivable. For example, there is from 24 million to 43 million in the current year. So mainly because of the more billings which was done to members who are billed on credit. But the good thing, at least the turnaround in terms of payment is quite good, and subsequently the amount has been recovered. So there is no issue in terms of collecting that amount. In terms of trade and other payable as well, as we can see, there is increase in terms of the operation. Similarly, there is an increase in the liability, the amount payable to the respective suppliers who help the company to undertake its activity. You can see the bottom line in terms of the net current assets. It has grown from 10 million to 14 million, which is quite a good thing. Yeah. So basically, it means the company is able to meet its current liabilities. So there is no shortfall in terms of availability of fund to meet its current liabilities, which gives comfort in terms of the going concern perspective and the company ability to sustain itself. I think that is it in terms of the audit opinion and summary of the performance for profit and loss as well as the financial position. Unless if there is any question, maybe in terms of the numbers or opinion, before I call it a day on our side.
Members, do you have any questions to the auditors or in relation to the presented accounts? Does silence mean that you are satisfied? So, do we go ahead to adopt the accounts? The presented audited accounts? Hey, this morning, members, you are very, very quiet. We are very cold. What's happening?
Maybe we can.
Any comments?
Maybe we can unmute them, Chair, just for a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, they
All
are
right.
unmuted,
Fine.
so I think yes.
Joyce, Royce Odhiambo?
We have disabled microphones. You can speak. And you can raise your hand if you have a question.
Okay. There is total silence, Joyce. I think it is well presented, and I take silence as, you know, as a nod to say the accounts are okay.
Okay, we'll record that.
Fine, we proceed.
Okay, Chair. Allow us to segue to the 2024 sector updates and highlights. This is from a presentation by our membership lead, Gathoni Matthew. It's a video. It will just run shortly.
Hi, my name is Gathoni Matthew and I am the membership lead, and I get to take care of the entire membership portfolio. 2024 began with a strong commitment from many of our members, and I would say that we have been putting policy into practice. With the expected gazettement of the EPR regulations in 2024, we saw very many companies come quickly to sign up with PAKPRO to make sure that they are compliant, that they understand what would be expected of them, what are their legal obligations, and our team was ready to serve each and every one of you, and we are happy to have had over 100 members in our portfolio this year. We have 7 sectors which are championed by our sector committees, and I'll start with the PET sector. The PET sector is the strongest, having been in the organization since 2018, and 2024 saw us have 62 million in revenue that was raised. We were also able to accomplish 91% compliance from the 33 members who are part of the portfolio. The PET recyclers have grown immensely in their capacity. We have 6 recyclers that we've been working with, and I'll name just a few. We had Rico Recycling Industry, we have PET bottle recyclers, we have Sunrise Impex, Mr. Green Africa Trading, we have T3, and I will mention that these last 2, Mr. Green and T3, have actually installed their plants to be able to process recycled PET at food grade level. So this is something we are looking forward to. We also got a new entrant into the market, Retech Fiber Plant, who is processing the PET into polyester fiber that is used for pillows and for mattresses. The laminate sector has 64 members. It's a huge sector, and we've been able to achieve 92% compliance. This sector has labels, polystyrene, PET flexible, PVC film, multiple packaging materials such as your snacks and soaps, and we're able to achieve 5,000 metric tons that was declared by our members. The sector actually raised 29 million shillings in 2024, and special attention to PVC labels, which contributes to 55 out of the 600 metric tons that were declared from our labels. And it is good to note that in as much as we receive money from all our labels, PVC is a very difficult material to process due to the toxic chloride gases that are released. We do, however, give special thanks to our recyclers, Norma Green, Constructive Plastics and EcoPost, who have championed recycling these very difficult polymers to make construction material such as fencing poles, to make outdoor furniture, to make building material that is waterproof due to the plastic's water repellent nature. Lastly, we have Alternative Energy Solutions, who is our newest entrant, and they actually make heavy diesel fuels out of our plastic laminates. Now, we have some of our members who are actually purchasing these fuels and using it in their manufacturing process. It's important to note that laminate recovery in Kenya just started, and we give a special thanks to our field officers who have spent tireless days in the field activating the sector. We are able to actually commend that these materials are now being purchased through our collection purchase assistance program. The plastic sector is our second largest volume contributor. With 19,000 tons, the 69 members actually had an 88% compliance. Now, with 29 million shillings brought into the company, we're able to see materials in flexible plastics. That's your shrink wrap, that's your plastic film that you use for packing your salt, that is our rigid plastics. It is also our woven bags, our gunias cement bags, as well as our thermoform plastics. The UBC sector is one of our younger sectors, but the most vibrant sector. It has 14 members, and they've been able to raise 16.5 million with just 1,300 tons. With a 93% compliance, we give a big kudos to the UBC sector. Now, UBC, as some of you may know or not know, is used beverage cartons. This is your milk pouches, your juice packets, your flavored milk packets. And what happens is these materials are collected and flaked, cut into small pieces, and actually make compressed boards that substitute building material, your MDF, your gypsum roofs. And this is thanks to the wonderful work by Romani Warehouse Limited as well as Ecotech Limited, who have been our recycling partners in the past 2 years. 2024 saw our biggest consumer awareness campaign with the Leta Carton Pack Ushinde campaign. We had 7 retail outlet stores through our partner and member, Naivas Supermarkets, and we were able to have over 35,000 packets of used beverage cartons that were collected and returned to the stores by our consumers who received points to actually trade at Naivas stores. We had 800 participants who came over and over again, and even had one of our local influencers, Crazy Kenna, join us in this campaign. So stay tuned for more engaging consumer campaigns in the next year. Our glass sector has 11 members who were able to contribute over 5,000 metric tons and raise just about 5 million shillings. Now, the glass sector is a steady sector. Glass recovery has been ongoing, and they actually achieved their target of recovering 70% of their volume. So we give a special thanks to them for their recovery initiatives. We have Bottle Logistics, who's our transportation partner who collects bottles from our drop-off locations across the city, as well as ADAG Glass Packaging Limited, who recovers and recycles all the glass that is used by our manufacturers. Our metal sector, having 31 members, had a 90% compliance. With just about 1,000 tons, we were able to generate 492,000 Kenya shillings. Now, the metal sector has caps and closures, cans, as well as aluminium foil and packaging. The paper sector has 57 members who achieved an 89% compliance. With 10,000 metric tons that were declared, they generated 5 million Kenya shillings in the company. We have our Business Mtaani program, the most exciting program in PAKPRO. This program is supported by funds from the paper sector, the metal sector, as well as funds from the rigid plastic sector in the entire plastics and laminate sector. Now, why we love this program so much is that we're able to bridge the gap between the waste actors on the ground and our recyclers, removing the multiple steps between brokers, other transporters, and allowing the waste picker who's doing the work of recovery to have direct market linkages to the recyclers, to know the prices of all the recyclable materials, to know where they can sell these materials, to increase their income and allow us to cumulatively strengthen the waste value chain. So what does 2026 look like for you, our member? Well, 1, we will be diving deeper by building knowledge and industry practice in circular economy through masterclasses as well as workshops. So stay tuned, look out for the next activity, next event, and make sure you get a certificate for it. Other things that will be happening is we have our wonderful Adopt a Bin program. Come, adopt a bin. Get your company to be in touch with a school, a retail outlet, connect with your consumers, and allow PAKPRO to be your PRO of choice, connecting your brand to your consumers.
Yes, I can see applause. That actually helps synthesize what our members have been able to contribute, but also gives you a snapshot into where the money is actually being utilized. Next, allow me to just bring Paul Amunga, who is our operations lead here at PAKPRO, and he will take you through our circular transitions, lessons from the field. He leads the team that is handling the projects in terms of implementation. And so we'll be able to hear more from him. Welcome.
My name is Paul Amunga. I'm the operations lead at PAKPRO. And basically, when I wake up in the morning, my key deliverable is just to ensure that the waste value chain actors are happy. The waste collector, the transporter, the recycler, and even my staff. The year that has passed, I think the 3 exciting things which we've done. The first one would be the Business Attacker program, which we launched towards the end of last year. And in that program, we are targeting the low market segment people to be able to treat waste as a business, waste management as a business, where they'll be able to aggregate waste and sell it to recyclers. We were able to set up a program whereby we provide them with a software, so they're able to log in, they're able to tell which waste type they can collect, what the pricing is, and if they need logistical support, how they'll be able to get that waste to the recycler. And I think it has been quite good, because we've been able to now to onboard 13 such actors, what we're calling the business attacker agents, onto our system, and we propose in the future that we'll be able to do a full rollout. The second item which I think was exciting was, though it was a restoration order from the regulator, which were requiring us on behalf of members to do river cleanups in 4 rivers, and the rivers were Kandisi River, Ngong River, Mathare, and Likoni. And we were able to mobilize actors. There's people, basically people who are from the regions around those rivers. We were able to get at 620, to employ 620 people to do those cleanups. And we paid them about something like almost $500,000 in terms of remuneration. And we were able to collect 777,000 kilograms. Third item, which was quite interesting and quite exciting, was the initiation of the UBC, used beverage cartons, which previously had not been collected, and we were able to activate that market to be able to arrive at about 320 aggregators, and in the process we were able to collect 218 metric tons, which costed about 2.8 million. I think those 3 components were the critical items that we were able to do in the year that were to the benefit of our members. For the coming year, we need to continue with the good work that we've started, and one key deliverable will be to just ensure that we are continuing to make collections, recovering material, and so we target to at least do in total about 1,500 tons, and through that collection we will be supporting the various actors with the subsidies that we normally provide to them, and so there should be value generated to the aggregators and also the waste pickers. We would like also to have the full rollout of the business attacker project. We'll also make linkage with the government of Kenya's program on affordable housing, which intends to establish an MRF, or a material recovery facility, at each site of the Boma Yangu program. So they have about 400 sites. So we think that we will be able to leverage on that and be able to get the aggregators plug into that program and be able to generate value by actually growing into an MRF. If you're an aggregator, if you get a chance, you'll be able to grow into an MRF. We'll also be looking to see how we can support the ecosystem, the community, by involving them, continuing to involve them in the aggregation, and making sure that at least they're getting a good value for money for the material they're delivering. We also want to continue encouraging transporters to come into our system, so that we're also supporting them to be able to get something from their activities. We're also supporting the community in terms of supplying them with PPEs, the personal protective equipment. We're also supporting them. We want to support them with trainings on safety and health, and also just how to manage waste, and also how to manage the financial literacy in terms of how do you manage the likes of licensing, KRA, and NEMA licensing and all. I think these 4 things are the critical components that will be able to meet the goals for our community, for our organization, for our members, and the community at large.
Allow me to introduce to us Fidel Maithia. Is a well-known actor and producer in the Kenyan film and TV sector, who is passionate about environment. Allow me to introduce him to take us through a short entertainment commentary.
I'm humbled to be here amongst you guys. Thank you for the introduction there, very humble by Madam CEO. You know, somebody once called us Kenyans peculiar, but I don't want to go into that. But as for me, my own opinion, in Kenya, we have a very fascinating habit. We follow rules. Yes, and everyone is looking at me strangely. Yes, Kenyans follow rules, but only where there's Wi-Fi and HR. At work, people are sustainability champions. Plastic hapa, organic pale, paper kule. Guidelines are life, as they say. Someone misplaces a bottle and we have to make time for a TED talk. But it's serious business by the way. And they even say, if everyone was like me, Kenya ingekuwa Singapore ya East Africa. Ama namna gani? Sorry. But the moment they go home, I have this question. The moment they go home, all that discipline, where does it go? That is the story of Mato. Model employee at the office, chaos supervisor at home. He walks into his kitchen and finds his wife, Shiro. Amazing energy, singing. Normally, Mato also helps him around, but when he's at work, of course, the wife takes over. But she's throwing everything into one bucket. I'm talking about banana peels, plastic bottles, leftover ugali, even old socks. Yeah, that's our weakness as men. One bin to rule them all. Mato, of course, is traumatized. He's thinking, Shiro, I mean, sweetheart, love of my life, what are you doing? Ugali? Ugali na organic, plastic, and, paper waste. Shiro looks at him like, relax. Guidelines are for work, hapa hakuna boss. But I think she's wrong. In this neighborhood, there's a boss, the circular police Makolo. A man who treats waste management the way KRA treats January. Very serious business. He bursts in with full authority. Waste management violation detected. And charges them with the crime of mixing everything like pilau without a recipe. Then very confidently, he turns the bucket over into the Mato, emptying every content. Mato, confused, lifts the socks. Remember the socks I mentioned? Makolo, socks ni category gani? Makolo replies, without blinking, hazardous emotional waste to be treated with respect. Of course, at this point, Shiro can't help but laugh. But it suddenly clicks to her. Sorting out waste in the home is not very complicated. If you can do it for 8 hours at work, of course you can spare 10 minutes in the home. And honestly, that's the gap, right? Kenya has strong policies, serious systems, committed organizations. What we need now is simple. Consistency in our homes. Because the circular economy doesn't start in the boardroom. It starts in the kitchen. It starts with a small bin, small choice, repeated every single day. So here's our call to action, if you'll allow me. Sort your waste at home. Reduce what you can, reuse what is useful, and recycle what won't pollute. Let guidelines follow you everywhere, not just the office. Bin by bin, we can build a cleaner, circular Kenya. If Mato, Shiro, and the circular police can work this out, surely all of us, we don't have an excuse. This is where true change begins. Thank you.
Well done. A round of applause.
All right.
Chair, I was just laughing because, my my Kenyan name is actually Shiro. So it's
Okay.
quite nice. I like that. Chair, maybe now.
Sort your waste at home.
Yes, you must sort, and I do sort mine. Like, for the record, I do sort mine. Allow us to just get a snapshot in how we are managing our data. Data, of course, is the new currency, but also from where we sit in the privileged position of being able to have an in-depth analysis and eyes into what you actually put into the market by way of your volumes and your declarations. We do want to provide comfort that we are putting and have put the necessary measures to safeguard that data so that it is protected. We do want you to appreciate what we have been doing. This year, we have been able to secure our certification as data processors and data controllers. And so you should be comfortable in knowing that now there is an added layer of protection into how we manage our data, into how we report it, and how we are compliant in as far as who accesses that data. So without further ado, Chair, let me introduce Benson Derry. He is our business analyst, and he will take you through the key data highlights for 2024.
My name is Benson Derry. I am the business and data analyst at Packaging Producer Responsibility Organization. Ideally, this means that I handle data collection, validation, analysis, and reporting to ensure that the business is moving in the right way and with the right insights. For the year 2024, we've been able to implement data protection governance systems. This includes having safeguards using a cloud-based security system. This has enabled us to handle our producer data more effectively and efficiently, ensuring that no incidents were reported in 2024. As we began the year, we were working with estimates of 46,000 metric tons, which was part of our registration process back in 2023. But in 2024, we were able to register 77,000 metric tons, for which 63,000 metric tons was paid for, showing that 83% of the volume was covered. Due to personalized training with the members, we were able to improve data handling and data quality, which in terms meant that the data accuracy went high significantly. The financials have an interesting perspective to it because the wait and see stance that members took when we were waiting for the gazettement of the EPR regulations left us between a rock and a hard place. What that means is of the 77,000 tons that I mentioned, 50% of the 66,000 tons was paid for in 2025. So this led to very many financial constraints in terms of our cash flows, and which affected the PRO's ability to recover material. So in the year 2024, since we have different sectoral targets for recovery, we've been able to achieve 30% materials recycled through our collection purchase assistance program with our recyclers. And this has seen 30% PRO performance in terms of recovery efforts for all the paid for volume.
Thank you for that. I think that was a good way to segue into the next session, where our recycling auditors, MMF or auditors, they will be able to take us through our recycling audit performance for the year 2024, just so that then we are able to have the granular performance or for the different sectors.
During 2024, as I was saying, we were contracted by PAKPRO to carry out their recycling audits. And we covered all the materials that were contracted, and also the activities involved, engaging recyclers one-on-one, visiting their premises, and also verifying that the CPF that they claim is actually legitimate. For summary of our report is huge and we cannot go through one by one, so I'll take you through the summary. The key activities we did during the audit involved site inspections at recycling facilities. We verified operational processes and material flows, and also we reviewed financial and transactional documentations and assessed the compliance with the contractual regulatory obligation by NEMA. The objectives of the audit involved checking compliance, validating accuracy of the CPF claims, and verifying recycling volumes and traceability, and also assessment of regulatory compliance. For the scope, we covered recycling operations and material process flow, the CPF claims and recycling volume verification, regulatory and contractual compliance, and also we assessed the impact of the program and operational effectiveness of CPF program. For methodology, we had planning and risk assessments. We also reviewed document and verifications. We also did site visit and physical inspections, and also material process flow and volume reconciliations. We have a summary. The key areas of improvements that we noted during the audit was the strengthening of documentation controls, enhancing record-keeping practices, and also improving traceability and mechanisms to reduce risk of misappropriation. This one came in where we found that our recyclers, yes, they are compliant, but they cannot give us documentation. Maybe they do not document their compliance, volume verification documents well, but we as the auditors, we managed to advise them on how to improve on that, which we have been seeing during 2025 audits. We have seen that the recyclers are responding well to that and they are quite compliant. For the second part of our report, we will have the framework and the overview of recycling operations. For 2024, we had recyclers, 6 for PET, 1 for glass, 2 for monolayer flexibles, 1 for PP bags, 3 for laminates, and 2 for UBC. For PET, 3 of our recyclers were contracted for January to December 2024. 3 were contracted for January to April 2024. For the rest of the materials, except UBC, all were contracted for January to April 2024. The counties that these recyclers are located, it's Nairobi and Kiambu, most of them, but their materials come from all over the country, and we managed to do a circulation to the collectors through calls and confirming that it's true, they do deliver the materials to the recyclers. For the second part of our second session is contracted packaging materials for 2024 program. We had the materials that were contracted for 2024 is PET, glass, flexible monolayer, PP bags, laminates, and UBC. For the volumes of the recyclers, we will look at the organogram that shows summary of the operations, how the material is received, and the end product, and then we will go to the volumes for each of the material. For PET, they collect, the process flow is they collect the post-consumer material. Then once the material gets to them, they sort out from the non-PET material. The third part is the shredding and granulation into flakes. Then there is sink float separation. Then after sink float separation, once they are separated, the flakes now are taken to washing. After washing, it is taken to pelletization. For all recyclers that were contracted for 2024, the last part of their process is pelletization. because in Kenya we do not have enough technology to go beyond pelletization. So these pellets, for pellets, they are exported, and also for flakes, they are exported. For the numbers, I'll take you through PET recyclers numbers. We had WICO Recycling Company, EPZ. They managed to recycle 11,394 tons. They were contracted for 7,376 tons. So there we can note that they are doing more than what is contracted. For PET bottles, they recycled 1,017 tons, and they were contracted for the same, or their volumes were subsidized. For Sunrise, it was the same case as PET bottles. They were contracted for every other volume of PET materials that was recycled in their facility. We had Mr. Green Africa. Mr. Green Africa was contracted for January to April 2024. He did 599 tons, and he was contracted for 400 tons. We had Kasam Serviettes. They were contracted for January to April 2024. They managed to recycle 150 tons, and all their volume was subsidized. We also have Don to Grow International. They were contracted for January to April 2024.
When Emmanuel comes back, mwambie hiyo meeting ya PAKPRO inaendelea.
They were contracted for January to April 2024. They managed to do 516 tons, and they were contracted for 400 tons. The next material is glass. For glass, their process flow involves the same collection from the residential areas, commercial premises. There are also collectors who go to dump site and they collect bottles, then they take them to the recycler. They are later sorted and separated. This is to remove any non-bottle materials. Then the bottles, there are different colors of the bottle. They are sorted in terms of color. Then the broken bottles are crushed to cullets. The good bottles are washed and resold back to the market. For the cullets, after they have been crushed and washed, they are sold to glass manufacturers. For 2024, our recycler, that is Bottle Logistics, they were not exporting. They were selling it locally, but for 2025, we have noted that they are exporting. The volumes, we only had one bottle recycler, that is Bottle Logistics East Africa. They managed to recycle 4,026 tons, and they were contracted for 3,173 tons. Our next material will be monolayer. For monolayer flexibles, it's the same process, but the difference here is the end product. Once they are collected, sorted, and washed, there is shredding and granulations. Then the shredded ones are melted. Once they are melted, they are pelletized and then supplied to manufacturers to make, which they use as raw materials to make different products. For monolayer flexibles, we had two recyclers for the same, that is Texplast Industries in Kiambu and Takataka Solutions. For Texplast, they did 288 tons and they were contracted for 248 tons. For Takataka Solutions, they did 515 tons and they were contracted for 500 tons. Then we move to PP bags. The process is the same, but the end product is where the difference is. For woven bags, we only had one recycler, and what they do, they recycle and then use a small percentage of virgin product to produce new PP bags. And our recycler was Texplast Industries. We audited them for January to December 2024. They did 1,974 tons and they were contracted for 1,000 tons. We move to laminates. For laminates, their process is the same, but after washing, there is a processing. For laminates, they process different products. That is the cabros, plastic lumber, and other construction boards. That is their end product. So anything that goes in a laminates recyclers facility, there is no waste apart from moisture because they use all the recyclable materials to make products. For the numbers, we have EcoPost, Sustainable Living. They did 620 tons for the year 2024. We contracted 441 tons for the same year. We had Constructive Plastics. They did 50 tons. They were constructed for 30 tons. And Noma Green Limited, they did 74 tons. They were constructed for 30 tons. Then we have UBC. Our UBC recyclers were Zoataka and Takataka Solutions. They were contracted for the month of June and July, only for receiving the UBC material and bailing them. So their process ended at bailing. So we had Takataka Solutions. They were contracted for 1,000 tons, but they did only 34 tons for the 2 months. We had Zoataka Limited. They were contracted for 50 tons. They did only 2 tons. Then our next part of the report is the PRO volume verification. Here, we tried to compare between what our members declared, what they had paid as at 31st December 2024, and the PRO target. After our assessment, we can say that the PRO did a good job here because they managed to recycle at least 98% of their targets. We have a conclusion for the same, and here in conclusion, it's what we found on the ground. So allow me to read through. The independent audit for our contract under the PAKPRO Extended Producer Responsibility Program, we confirmed that the entities that were audited were actively engaged in recovery, sorting, and recycling of post-consumer packaging materials. The verification of CPAF and assessment of material flow demonstrated that the recyclers, they were largely compliant with both contractual obligations and regulatory requirements as stipulated by NEMA. The audit further confirms that PAKPRO CPF program, it plays a significant role in incentivizing the recovery of post-consumer materials, supporting circular economy, and reducing environmental leakage of recyclable waste in Kenya. This one, we proved that it's actually doing this because the recyclers are really recovering materials, which is commendable. However, we identified several operational and structural challenges that require attention. Number one was material price fluctuations. This one mostly affected PET recyclers. There was a time towards the end of 2024, the bottle prices went so high, but their market prices of pellets and flakes was so low that their profit margins were very small, and it was quite a challenge. We also noted there was competition with virgin materials. For example, in China, the recyclers that export PET flakes and pellets to China, they are experiencing a competition from virgin materials because manufacturers they want to take the bottle made from the virgin material rather than the recycled material due to the quality variations. There is also high operational cost. This is because of power. You find that recyclers require a lot of power to run their machinery and their daily operations, which is too high with the gaps in the economic times that we are going through. There is also documentation and financial compliance gaps. We noted that there was a very huge gap in documentations. But in our progressive audits, we've been helping them to comply, and we can say that recyclers are really complying because they are taking the corrective actions seriously. There is also inconsistent material.
What was there?
Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay. Okay. Apologies for that. There is also inconsistent material segregation, that is inadequate sorting at source or within facility, particularly for PET and flexible plastics. This impacts recovery efficiency and volume accuracy. We also had observations that overall recycling activities, they are being conducted with integrity. They are being conducted with integrity, and claimed volumes, they are generally supported by operational and financial documentation. We also noted that traceability systems are effective, but there is a scope for strengthening internal controls, record-keeping practices, and reporting consistency to further minimize the risk of misappropriation and discrepancy. We also observed that the CPAF program effectively contributes to the growth of sustainable recycling ecosystems, but enhanced stakeholder support and operational improvement are necessary to maximize material recovery and long-term sustainability. We also have a strategic recommendation for this. We recommend that standardized documentation practices across all recyclers. This will help us improve the auditability and traceability. We also recommend that recyclers should be encouraged to invest in operational efficiency, especially for complex materials like laminates and flexible monolayers. We also recommend that market should be explored their mechanism so that we increase the demand for recycled product and reduce dependency on virgin alternatives. We also recommend to strengthen integration of informal sector collectors to expand collection and network and promote inclusivity. And also we recommend that periodic training and technical support programs should, so that we enhance the compliance with NEMA regulation and industry best practices. In conclusion, our audit provides reasonable assurance that recyclers are performing their obligation under the PAKPRO EPR framework, while highlighting opportunity for operational, procedural, and compliance improvement. And also, adoption of the above recommendations will further strengthen the transparency, accountability, and sustainability with the Kenya's packaging recycling ecosystem, aligning with PAKPRO's mission, leading the way in sustainable packaging. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I think that was a very well presented report, and I think it captures what happened in 2024 accurately. I think, Chairman, and maybe to the board and all the members, I think for your comfort, it's important to note that the methodologies we use for audit have also been tested. Some of our own members are audited. When we make these submissions to some of our members, they have their own internal auditors go through our audit report to check whether our methodology fits the bill, and I think it has passed the test. And so I think we do want to say and appreciate MFK for the continued partnership. I believe Miriam has actually been to all our recycling facilities. She knows them like the back of her hand. But we are also able to keep trends in what is happening globally. Right now, of course, is the geopolitical dimension around Iran. We expect that the price of virgin will go up. And I'm sure for most of you here, some of your suppliers have already indicated you're going to get an increase in price on the cost of your virgin. We do hope that this opens the door for consideration of recycled content from our existing recyclers who are doing bottle to bottle. But I think that was a very good way to segue into the next segment that actually speaks to design for recycling. Design for recycling is important because what you put into the market actually facilitates our ability to recover. But more importantly, in terms of how it fits into your bottom line, is that the higher the recycled material or the higher we are able to recycle your products or your packaging, the lower the price you pay to us. Today, there are some members who are able to get 100% rebate on EPR fees simply because they are actually using 100% recycled content in their products. I think for those of you who are using cartons that are actually being produced with some recycled content, we typically ask you to get your converter to provide a certified document that indicates what is the percentage of recycled content in that carton. And we do provide that as a rebate. So if it is 30% recycled content, we give you a 30% rebate. And so when it comes to design for recycling, I think it's imperative for all of us to appreciate that this is the direction we want to go. I don't think EPR was designed to be a punitive activity in terms of your bottom lines. It's actually supposed to help you reduce your business costs by improving the quality and type of packaging that you put into the market. So without further ado, let us have the video on Design for Recycling, showcasing our members who we able to spotlight for this achievement.
At Highlands Drinks Limited, sustainability isn't just a goal, it's part of the daily routine. And yes, even our bottles are getting in shape. First up, meet our pet crusher. We crush used PET bottles to make them smaller, lighter, and easier to transport. That means fewer trucks on the road and lower CO2 emissions. The planet loves that. Our carbonated soft drink bottles have been on a diet too, dropping from 21.12 grams to 19.52 grams. That's some serious plastic savings. Even the caps joined the challenge. They've slimmed down from 2.48 grams to 2.08 grams. Small change, big impact. And guess what? We've said goodbye to plastic seals on our PET bottles, trimming them from 20.239 grams to 20.079 grams. Sometimes losing a little means gaining a lot, especially for the environment.
Welcome to Bidco Industrial Park in Ruru, where even our bottles are leveling up to become more eco-friendly. Before the switch, here's our squad. The PVC top sleeve, the 16.5 gram Planet Aqua bottle, the 22 gram Reactor Simba bottle, and the heavyweight champion, the 32 gram 1 liter bottle. Great personalities, right? But let's be honest, they were carrying a bit too much weight. So we sent them for a makeover. The Eco Edition, first up, the PVC top sleeve. Gone, removed 100%. No more unnecessary extras. Planet Aqua dropped from 16.5 G to 14.5 G. That's a whole 12% weight loss. Go Planet Aqua. Reactor Simba got even stronger and lighter, from 20 down to 18.5 G. A clean 16% cut. And the 1 liter bottle? Oh, it went all in. From 32 G to 21 G, that's a massive 34% reduction. Talk about commitment. And why all these changes? Simple. To remove unnecessary plastic from the value chain. Lighter bottles, no PVC sleeves, better for the environment and better for the future. Bidco Industrial Park, making sustainability lighter, smarter, and a whole lot more fun.
Meet the old squad at PZ Cussons East Africa, our classic polyethylene terephthalate bottles. Reliable? Yes, but maybe a little too heavy-handed on the plastic. They've been working hard, but let's just say they were carrying more plastic than they needed. So we made the switch. 750 milliliter morning fresh dishwashing liquid, down by 22.9% in packaging weight. 500 milliliter imperial leather body wash, a clean 7.5% reduction. 250 milliliter imperial leather bottle, a strong 21.4% drop in weight. So why all these changes? To reduce plastic usage, to lower our carbon footprint, to support our sustainability goals, and yes, to improve cost and transport efficiency too. PZ Cussons East Africa. Lighter packaging, greener choices, brighter future.
In 2023, Kevian Kenya Limited implemented a strategic packaging redesign across its MT Kenya drinking water portfolio, transitioning from light blue tinted PET bottles to fully clear PET bottles. While visually subtle, this shift represents a significant design for recycling milestone. Clear PET commands a higher market value because it can be processed into a wider range of secondary products without compromising material quality. Sometimes innovation is not about adding more. It is about simplifying smarter.
Well done, well done. I think a round of applause for those companies. And we know there are many. We picked a few. In 2025, of course, we'll add others. But I think allow me to mention that we are in 2026 currently working with the United Nations Environment Programme. We have also been part of the policy discussions around developing reuse guidelines. So reuse is becoming a very integral part in terms of how we are looking to scale circular economy, and it's an evolving conversation. We will be sharing an invite for a roundtable that UNEP is convening, but we are key participants, and of course most of our members that we have been engaging with are also going to be playing an active role around through the policy developments that of course are affecting them and will affect them as we move forward from 2024 to where we are currently. And I will start, of course, with the material issue that was raised during the AGM minutes that were read out by Jimmy, where we had originally stated that we wanted to tackle only non-hazardous packaging. And while that was true in 2024, the regulator, one, has since allowed all PROs to be able to handle all materials. Okay, all materials means the 5 different categories. This is the hazardous waste, non-hazardous, electronic, as well as the normal goods, as well as automobiles. I think from where we sat as the management, we looked at how our competitors, and allow me to speak freely, under the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. This is KEPRO, HAPROC, and EPROC, and we were able to look at them critically. HAPROC and EPROC have not been able to raise membership to the level where they are able to sustain their operations. Okay? Remember, all 3 entities are housed under the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. And so from my thinking and that of the management, our guidance was that there will come a time where likely, through the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, all 3 of them are going to be merged into one, simply because our regulator is actually encouraging that as the modus operandi. And so for us, we already had 3 of the biggest cosmetics and companies. And these are PZ Cussons, Unilever, as well as L'Oreal, East Africa. And of course, because we have had them and we are catering to their needs, their products have been categorized as hazardous. And so for us, we have also been able to onboard paint manufacturers. We have also been able to onboard pharmaceutical entities. But beyond that, from an operational standpoint, is that we have dedicated a desk to handle their materials. So we are confident, and we do have a plan in terms of an EPR plan to manage their waste. And so we feel that we would be able to confidently handle both non-hazardous and hazardous materials. And so beyond strategy, from an operational standpoint, we do believe we have what it takes to be able to do this. Our recyclers are more or less the same. When it comes to incineration capabilities, we have already developed those partnerships and contractual obligations. And so for like 2026 financial year, you'll be able to see that that is something that has been deployed. And so I think to the membership is to request, and I will present this as an AOB when it comes to resolutions, that we are allowed to have it in our records that we are handling both hazardous and non-hazardous material. Remember, we also have diapers in our care, and we don't want to brag, but they have chosen to stay with us. So I think we want to move in this direction. The second matter that is critical, I think, for all of you to note, is that yesterday the National Environment Management Authority did call for a sensitization meeting, simply because the EPR import fee is about to go live. Now, it will go live in 2 ways. There are five categories that are designated in the first schedule of the EPR regulations. Category 1 and 2 deal specifically with non-hazardous packaging and some hazardous packaging, but packaging nonetheless. Those 2 categories, you will be applying for your EPR import clearance through the eCitizen. Now, on the eCitizen platform, there is no requirement to make a remittance as yet. Okay? For those of you who are in category 3, 4, and 5, these are people who are dealing with any electrical goods, our furniture companies, you will be required to use the Kentrade platform. Now, the Kentrade platform, you will be able to have your EPR import certificate, but you will also have to make a payment. And that goes live from 13th of March. Now, as to whether NEMA will actually kick it off on 13th, we cannot guarantee, but they communicated as much during yesterday's meeting. What does the EPR import fee mean? Is that you will be paying 150 shillings per item for the people who are in category 3, 4, and 5. with the exception of small electronic goods like switches, they say even phones, you will be paying per case, not per item. But laptops, fridges, your TVs, you will be paying per item. Okay. For those who are bringing furniture, it will be per item. Even if you come boxed in a carton or a crate, it will be per item. Now, for category 1 and 2, you will not be paying as yet. However, when they do kick off the payment, you will be making remittances based on your outermost packaging. This is with the exception of people who are importing items like sugar, cereals that are in sacks or bags. You will be paying per sack. For instance, even people who are bringing resin, you pay per sack. It will not be per pallet. So pallets have been removed. They are no longer going to be considered. I think the next item I want to pick on that has become an emerging issue. Of course, for most of you, in January, you likely received a letter from your retailers, especially tier 1 retailers. Our member Naivas is on the call, and I know Carrefour, Quickmart, and the others, that you will no longer be allowed to supply product into their stores or into retail outlets if you do not show proof of compliance with EPR. Now, the proof of compliance is that you have a producer registration number, which means you have registered with NEMA, which is a one-off registration. You also demonstrate you are a member of a PRO or you have your own individual scheme. Allow me to speak only for collective EPR registration because you're all here as members of PAKPRO. You need to provide a certificate of membership to your retailers as a PAKPRO member. Now, the last one, which is the most critical to NEMA, especially in the next coming weeks, from next week onward, is going to be your EPR clearance certificate. Now, previously, and you heard me in my introduction and the chair's introduction, that we have been doing 120-day payment cycles, which means quarterly payments. For some of you, it has even been annual or every 2 months. Moving forward, NEMA requires that every month you have your clearance sitting with them, ourselves, as well as the retailer. Should they do a spot check audit at a retail outlet and your monthly clearance is not with them, then the supermarket one is required not to stock you, which means if they have you on the shelves, there's a fine of 2 to 4 million shillings for the retail outlet. But more importantly is that you will not be allowed to actually move your product into the market. I know this will require for you to reorient your procurement and payment policies. We strongly encourage you to do so. Currently, we do have members who are depositing an annual payment with us so that we generate monthly certificates immediately. So they pay us in advance, and then if there is a top-up to be done, or they would have paid us more, then there's a credit note to be issued. So I strongly encourage, if that is something you can do, even if you do it for per quarter. You pay us per quarter so that every month you have a guarantee of your monthly clearance. It will be safer for you. How have we been helping you to comply so that you can be able to stock your products in the supermarket? What we have been doing is we make sure you have paid your EPR fee. We make sure you have done your EPR declaration. Okay, we must have a declaration from you. Because NEMA initiated compliance and enforcement in a very predatory manner, we have been working to issue you with clearance certificates against purchase orders. Okay? So you have to have made a declaration. You give us an LPO or a PO, then we can be able to issue you with a clearance certificate. If you do not have your declaration or your PO, we cannot assist you. Okay? It's also important to note that next week, NEMA is going to be coming to our offices to audit us, and what they are checking for is which of our members have met full compliance, meaning they have the documents I have mentioned, especially for January 2020, December 2025, January 2026, and February 2026. So I strongly urge you to reach out to us so that we are able to ensure you are compliant. It is against this same document that they will go to the retailers. So our retailers and ourselves, we have been working very closely. I think we have been supporting Naivas directly so that we can ensure that suppliers are, their products are able to move into their stores, but we can only do so much. And our so much is really reliant on whether you have provided a declaration or a PO or payment. So we strongly urge you to look at that. The other issue you need to note is that as a PRO, similar to the other PROs in Kenya, we did make an application for our PRO certificate. If you read through the regulation, you will realize and appreciate that all PROs must be registered with NEMA. NEMA then responded back to all of us that we needed to increase our EPR fees. They provided us with a schedule that had been provided to them by waste value chain actors of what the waste value chain is stating as their costs of operation. This is the cost of collection, transportation, etc. What is critical to note in that document is that there is a set minimum wage that there is an expectation for PROs to meet. That minimum wage in the document is set at 750, but we have since found out that the government now has a minimum wage policy for waste pickers, and it has set the minimum wage at 775 shillings per day. Okay? Based off of our calculations, we were able to add in our costs so that then we are able to see what would this scenario look like in terms of being able to increase, to look at the fee revision. Unfortunately, some of these rates, they were going up by over 1,000%, some 1,200%, others nearly 500%. And to be frank, when we did the computation, whereas as a PRO we would be able to raise money, it would be punitive to your businesses and your bottom lines. And so we did share this with our board. Our board was, both our boards, our overall board as well our sector boards, they actually guided that we need to reject that position. We did propose a review in the formula that NEMA has suggested. However, we have not yet heard back from the authority. We did a joint memorandum. This is ourselves, PAKPRO, KPRO, HAPROC, and IPROC. We did a joint memorandum signed by all chairs of all the boards of all the PROs and submitted this to the Director General of NEMA. So we await to hear what they say. However, just to raise caution, when NEMA begins to audit your facilities individually, they are going to ask if you are familiar with this increment and whether you have begun to make the payments. We urge you to be candid with them and state that it is an ongoing discussion that has not yet been resolved, and you await your guidance from your PRO. The second issue second last issue I want to raise is around the management of waste pickers. The waste pickers are an important cog in the waste value chain. They are the people who we rely on to recover your packaging material. As an organization, we have been at the forefront of advocating for their inclusion. However, for their inclusion in a formal, organized manner, which is why we conceptualized the program of Biz Nataka, Mtaani. That being said, we have to be aware that we are living in a different political economy where, of course, waste pickers now, they want to be included into the hierarchy of welfare benefits. And so on Monday this week, the Cabinet Secretary of Environment called for a meeting where the Director General, the Chairman of the Board of NEMA, as well as representatives from the Council of Governors and the Ministry of Cooperatives were present, as well as representatives from the Waste Pickers Association were present in that meeting. The objective of that meeting was to establish how, as PROs, meaning producers yourselves, would be able to cater for the welfare of these waste pickers. Now, by welfare, the government is talking about one, the minimum wage that I have said has been set at 775 shillings per waste picker per day. Number two, provision of the social health benefits, this is SHA, as well as PPE, personal protective equipment for all waste pickers in the country. They even mooted the idea of NSSF benefits. Nothing was agreed. As PROs, we made our presentations on what we are currently doing. We did not dive into the side that they want, but the cabinet secretary was very categorical that the president is interested in dealing in onboarding waste pickers into the welfare system. And of course, he is looking to host them at State House later in the next month. But I think what is critical to note is that the cabinet secretary reiterated that we need to agree on the EPR fee formula quickly, simply because it would be able to unlock the kind of resources that would be able to support the welfare of waste pickers. So I think that is a risk and a caution matter. We are following it, we are tracking it. We will be able to provide feedback to the board and to the members once we are able to find a way forward. I think lastly, Chair, for me, is to bring to the attention of members that the East African Community Single-Use Plastics Bill is now ready. It will be tabled in IALA between March and June this year, but it is expected to be final and published by November 2026. It is also important to note that this process is now being driven under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and not under the Ministry of the Regional Affairs or NEMA or the Ministry of Environment. And so now we are seeing Foreign Affairs coming into the plastics discussion. We have not as yet had any engagement with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the proponents who have sponsored the bill to know what is happening and where it is going. Our desire is that we will be able to have this conversation in the coming weeks before it is tabled, just so that we can share the final copy of that document with members so that we are alive to what the proposals are. I think for me, that is the end of my presentation. I put it back to you, Chair, and to the floor, if there are any questions.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Does any member want any clarification to the presentation made earlier on by Joyce, by others? Or will you be giving them some handouts or printouts to this?
Yes, we are going to give everyone a printout. We didn't share it in advance so that people can come first and hear what we have to say. But everyone will get a printout that has this information, as well as our audited accounts and as well as the recycling performance.
All right, then we'll let you read, digest, and still come to the office, raise questions or your concerns with the office, so that we as a board or we as the, an EPR can actually take your concerns to the next level. Unless there is any burning question, we would like us to move to the next item.
Yes,
I'll give
Chair,
2 minutes.
maybe we check the chat. Are there any questions?
That's why I paused. Okay, we move to item number 5, retirement and removal of directors. And I think that one has been led now twice.
Yes.
It's a question of a second ratification by the members. And I think I would call upon Jimmy to actually present this item 5 so that we can do away with it once and for all. Jimmy, please. Secretary.
I am here, Chairman.
You're there?
Yes, I hope you can hear me and see me. Good morning, everyone, again.
Yes.
Right, so I'll just read this out and then we will hear from the members on somebody proposing and seconding so that the motion is carried. Again, this is for purposes of just ensuring that our current status with the BRS, the company's registry, is correct and is reflective of the current position. We have a number of directors who had joined a while back but are no longer associated with PAKPRO as they've moved on to other things. So let me read out this, just read this out verbatim for the members. Where is it? Okay. Right. So, in effect, the legal language is removal of directors. So, in accordance with Section 139 of the Companies Act, and actually we have written to all of these directors, we have letters addressed to them required by the law where you provide them with at least 28 days notice for them to attend this meeting because it is a special resolution. So in accordance with Section 139 of the Companies Act and Article 23F of the Companies Articles of Association, special notice is issued on the resolutions to be considered and passed at the general meeting confirming the retirement and removal of the following persons as directors of the company as no longer associated with or otherwise representing their sponsoring organization's interests as members of the company. Therefore, Chairman and all members present, I now present the question of a resolution to be passed by the AGM on the removal of these directors: Ibrahim El Kauri, Chege Amos Teuri, John Mwangi Waidaka, Daryl Alan Wilson, Anthony Daniel Mwangi, Justin Travers, Michael Apsey, Caspar Durant, and Daniel Gidua Mwangi. Thank you. I hand it over back to you, Chairman.
Yes, this now calls for action from the members, from directors now. Can you confirm removal of these directors from the role of our directors for reasons that have been read there earlier on by the Secretary? Unless you have any formal reason why they should be retained, I would say we move on and confirm that the directors have affirmed their removal. Any objection? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Confirmed. Secretary, you can go ahead filing the removal of these directors for the reason already read on, which is in accordance to Section 139 of the Company Act.
Thank you, Chairman.
Right.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So noted. Thank you.
Thank you. So that motion is carried. And now we move on to item 6, which is to confirm the appointment of PKF and fix the remuneration. Is that so?
Yes.
So can we go ahead straight to that? Please, can you present it, Joyce or Secretary,
Jimmy,
as it should be read?
Yeah, Jimmy can present it.
All right, thank you. So this is on the appointment of the auditors? Correct?
Yes, PKF.
Okay, all right. So then a resolution to be passed by this AGM in accordance with the notice. Let me just read it out. So a resolution to confirm the appointment of PKF Kenya, Certified Public Accountants of PO Box 14077 00800 Postal Code, Nairobi, Kenya, as the auditors of the company for the financial year following that audited previously above, and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration in accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act. Mr. Chairman, back to you.
Yes, that's the statement and the item that covers the auditors. First of all, is there any member who has any objection to the appointment of these auditors? Any objection? If none, can we fix their remuneration? I don't know how it was previously, and if there is any particular request either to go up or down.
Chair, maybe from management side, we had, it was 500,000. However, I think as management, we will be, that is for audit services, but we would like to contract PKF to provide additional support in matters taxation, which will be a separate contract. But on matters audit, it was fixed at 500,000. They might increase it, so we would like some slight headroom to be able to allow for us to have them on board. Is that okay? Yeah.
Shall we let you?
Yes.
Or shall we let the office discuss with the PKF? And then if there is any changes significant, you represent it on a memorandum to the board.
Correct.
And if the other one is for individual audit or maybe query representation to KRA, again, you can also do that and present it to the board as it comes from time to time.
Yes. I think fully aligned, Chair. We will do that.
Yeah. Shall we leave it like that, members? Any objection? Motion carried. Thank you. So we move on to item 7. To consider any other business of which due notice has been received. Is there any? Or do we move on straight to any other business? Any member with any other business? A or B?
Chair, there was a question that had been posted in the question and answer. Could I read it out?
Please.
Okay. So the question reads, it's by someone whose name is using a machine named Warehouse. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm sure that's not your name. But the question is, my question is relating to the rollout of application of import certificate. Yesterday's meeting with NEMA was not conclusive. A lot of concerns were raised relating to payment required documents, lead time of approval of the certificate. Due to all these concerns, can't we as stakeholders be allowed to have a piloting of the system before the rollout? So I think that was the question. And I think, Chair, maybe I could also answer it.
Please. Because I don't have the answer.
Yes. The meeting yesterday was not conclusive. Actually, it ended abruptly. As a PRO, we are seeking guidance on some of these issues because you will appreciate that you will be having slight delays with the system as they have currently conceptualized it. And so, to be honest and very candid, we don't know that they have room to change a lot of aspects, especially for categories 3, 4, and 5. Okay, those who are going to be on the Kentrade platform. I think you looked at their lead time, it's 24 hours, whereas for most other processes, they are much shorter, and you cannot get a full clearance on customs and duty payment without the EPR import certificate. So we do envisage that there will be some delays. They are not willing to pilot. For them, the phase that they are rolling out from 13th, that is going to be the piloting window for them. Even if it's a full run, they are going to be able to iterate the system as they move along. So unfortunately, right now, doesn't look like there's much that can be done. There are some questions we have. For instance, the people in category 1 and 2, how do they then apply IDF? Because they are using the eCitizen platform and not the Kentrade. And so we will be able to do this, to check for this with the regulator and revert back to members with some conclusive answers next week.
Can we then ask
Chair?
the office to be, continually be circulating whatever you receive from NEMA to members, you circulate so that they are informed in case they keep on coming in bits and pieces?
Yes. So we actually do that, Chair. As soon as we receive communication, we do circulate it. Unfortunately, the regulator has been sending us information in an ad hoc manner, which means they might share a circular today for a meeting that is tomorrow or the next day. We have raised complaints to the Director General's office around this. We have also raised complaints around the EPR import certificate fee. I know, Chairman, that's a letter we already issued to them. And so we unfortunately, they have not been quick to give us that feedback. So we do circulate and we will continue to do so.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other OB, other business?
Yes, I think there's also a comment from Nelson who says he proposes for physical AGM meetings for more open and effective discussions. I think, Nelson, that is, we have taken that into consideration. And maybe I think to explain why we had this one as a virtual in 2024, and actually last year, we did have a lot of uncertainty in terms of our cash flows, simply because members generally were not making remittances owing to the litigation of EPR regulations that were in court. And so to be able to cushion our cash flows, we felt that we were not going to be able to foot the bill around the AGM being physical. However, we are happy to report that in January this year, members have ramped up their remittances. And so we are confident that we will be able to have a physical AGM this year.
I hope, that satisfies the person who raised the question. Any other business?
I think, Chair, I had raised a matter that came up from the previous minutes, and this is for us to be now formally allowed with to cater to both non-hazardous and hazardous packaging material.
Is that an advantage or disadvantage to us?
It's a very huge advantage because some of you are actually dabbling in both spaces. Some of you are dealing with non-hazardous as well as hazardous. For instance, one of our members, Unilever, and several others. And so we would be able to be a one-stop shop, providing our services to you, as opposed to you registering in 2 PROs.
Fine. Unless there is any objection, I would say go ahead. Any objection to that? No. All right, we move on. Any other business?
I think none from our side, Chair.
And if there is none, it's 11:40. I would strongly say, can we bring the meeting to a halt? Some of us want to go to Naivasha and watch this team of ladies starting off on this safari. And I would wish to go there. So please join me. It's a good weekend.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. It's going to be a weekend of fun. And I can assure you it will be a weekend of happiness and knowing your country. Some of us do not even know that we have those hot springs on the other side. However, So shall we now bring the meeting to a close? Gadoni, can you read us with a word of prayer?
Thank you. Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for a wonderful engagement at this annual general meeting. Thank you for all the members that were present, for the resolutions that were passed, and for the leadership of our board and our CEO and the entire membership. As we go into the next year, I pray that, Lord, you would guide each one of us, even as we tackle the difficult times, and that you would give us wisdom in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. The meeting remains adjourned until the next time when it's convened. Thank you very much and goodbye. Have a great week.
Goodbye, Chairman. Goodbye, everybody.
Great. Thank you. Goodbye.